Hello, I'm Tanya Mercer, and I'm here to teach your Sunday Level 28 Day 3 lesson. For today, we're going to read the sound cards. Don't forget to say both the short and the long sounds for the vowels. If your student makes an error, you would say this is the letter or letters WH, which says W as in wheel, and then you would show the keyword slide and have them trace that 3 times. W, W, W. We're going to go quickly through these slides. You can pause the video at any time if you need more time to produce the sound. The short and the long sound. Short and the long sound. The short and the long sound. The short and the long sound. Short and the long sound. Okay. So now we are on the spell sound section of your lesson. As usual, I will give you a sound, and then you're going to write the letter or letters that make up that sound right here in this section. First sound, I'm going to say a sound, you will repeat the sound, and then you will write the sound. You'll probably need to pause between each sound. R, ing. Remember to repeat, then write. Or, oo, ch, pl, onk. Okay, if there is an error, you would say what you saw, what the error was. So you could say, I see eng. I wanted ing. Can you tell me what letters make up the sound ing? And hopefully they would tell you that. You would write the correct version. If you don't have ing for ing, cross out what you have and write it correctly. Then write it 2 more times for extra practice. And again, that's just an example of how to do an error correction. Now, I have a question for you. If you have room at the bottom here on Spell Sounds, this is where you'll write the answer, or if you have to do it right there, you can do that as well. Seem to misplace my eraser. Okay, how do you write long O at the end of a word? When you hear the O sound at the end of a word, what is the most common way to spell it? And write that down. Okay. Your answer should have been O-W. When you hear O at the end of a word, you should spell it O-W. I don't know if that's showing up correctly on yours or not. Okay? So like snow, blow, sow. Sow as in sowing seeds. Okay? Now I want you to take a minute, pause the video, and read these two columns. Okay? We'll review touch spelling quickly. You should have it down by now. If you're a righty, you'll start with your pinky and tap the desk or a surface. If you're a lefty, you'll start with your thumb. Okay? All right, so now we're in the spell word section. So you're going to write the words here. I'm going to give you a word. You will repeat the word. You will touch spell the word, and then you will write it. You will need to pause the video probably after each word to give yourself time to repeat, tap, or touch spell, and then write. First word, sung. Second word, time, and go down the column. Whip. Brain. Spool. Task. Row. Bond. Here is a sight word. Don't. Stain. Late. Slow. And vote. Take a minute to look over your words. Do they look like they're spelled correctly? If not, make your corrections now. All right, so let's take a moment. Do you have the words written as I do right here in this section? If you don't, cross the word out and write it correctly. Take a moment to get those corrections done. When you're finished, read these words out loud. Okay, now we're on to the spell words and phrases section. So I'm going to say two sentences. I'll say one sentence first. You'll repeat the sentence. You'll tap out one word per finger, and then you will write the sentence. First sentence. Meet me by the snowdrift. Meet me by the snowdrift. Repeat it, tap it out, then write it. Pause the video to give yourself time to write the complete sentence. The next sentence, the rain will fill the pail. The rain will fill the pail. Repeat, tap, then write. Pause the video to give yourself enough time to write the entire sentence. Now take a moment to check for capitalization, accuracy, punctuation, and spelling. If you need to make any corrections, do so now. This is what your sentences should have looked like. Is this what your sentences look like? If not, cross out any errors and write it correctly. Then take a moment and read the sentences out loud. Okay, now we're on to, sorry about that, the new learning. Today we're learning a new blending card, LT, and I don't think I got it out like I normally do, so hang on one second. There we go. Okay, so LT is our first blending card, or not our first, it's actually our 26th blending card, but the first blending card for today. And the keyword for that is melt. Okay, can you say ult? It's kind of hard to say in isolation. Ult. Okay. And that is after a vowel. So now I want you to trace. Ult. 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 Feels kind of weird saying that. So trace it 3 times, then write it 3 times in the Introduce New Material section on the small lines. Our next blend is ulk. Can you say ulk? Okay, so let's trace it. Ulk. 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 So trace it 3 times and then write it 3 times in the new materials section. Okay, now we're going to practice reading words with the ult and the ulk sound. Pause the video and let yourself have time to read the words in each column. Okay, now I'm going to give you some words and you're going to spell them. So I will say the word, you will touch spell, you'll repeat it, then you'll touch spell, and then you'll write it. So you might need to pause the video after each word. First word, felt. Next word, tilt. Melt. Belt. Milk. Elk. Silk. And bulk. Take a moment to look over your words. Make sure they are all spelled correctly. This is what you should have written. Now, granted, they will be up and down, but this should have been your first word, second. If you made any errors, correct them now. Cross out what your mistake was on and write it correctly. After you're done making your corrections, read the list of words that you've just written. Okay. And now we're to the final read aloud portion of our lesson. We did read this yesterday, but we're going to continue reading it for the next 2 days to build fluency. As I pointed out yesterday, chocolate is kind of said differently than what you would think it would sound out as. Pause the video on each page to give yourself time to read this out loud. Okay, and that's the end of our Sonday Level 28 Day 3 lesson for today. Thank you and have a great day.